A huge moo to the herd, and welcome to episode 19 of our Omnifactory playthrough. So I've done an awful lot of work between episodes in preparation for today's tasks, and hopefully we'll be able to achieve something that I personally am quite excited about. It sounds very geeky, but yeah. So first thing I did between episodes was to handcraft a load of patterns, because as you may have guessed, the theme for today is going to be automation. I've also built up some, where are they? Here, ME interfaces and fluid interfaces and some cable. I've also moved some machines around. So our wire mill, which was down here in this little slot, is now up here, right next to our cluster mill. I've also created another MV assembling machine. And the final thing I've done is I've run some additional ME conduit and cables. And I'd like to thank Smudge for pointing out on the Omnifactory Discord that I should really be stepping down from the ME conduit to the ME cables to prevent possible disconnections due to chunk loading. So thank you for that. That's all been implemented. As you can see, we've got these step downs in place. So as I said before, today's task is to automate. And I thought the very first thing I'm going to try automating is actually patterns. And the reason being, if I look at the recipe for a pattern, a blank pattern that requires fine silver wire, that's relatively easy to get hold of. Polyethylene sheets, well, we're producing polyethylene already, so we should be able to do something with that. But it requires processor arrays. So if I go to, I think it's the refined processor array, which is the tier 2 one. Yeah, this is the second tier 3 circuit. So it's a tier 2, tier 3. I don't know. Which requires stainless steel, when we've been making up stainless steel. We'll do this one because we're using the SMDs. It requires SMDs to be made. It requires refined processors, which we made in the previous episodes. RAM and vibrant alloy wire. So, I think that's a really good opportunity for us to actually automate the circuits and have them produce something quite useful. So the only thing I think I'm going to have a problem with is vibrant alloy wire, because that, if I remember correctly, is vibrant alloy, which is energetic alloy and an ender pearl in the blast furnace. An energetic alloy is energetic blend, which is glowstone and redstone and gold. So I'm not ready to automate the blast furnaces. So what I'll probably do is I'll make a batch of that off camera. But meanwhile, let's just get started on getting our machines set up, ready to get everything running. So I open up my trusty calculator and say blank pattern. I want 8 of them. You can see all of the different things we require. So if I go to the steps, we can see each of the machines and the required. So the first thing I need is electrum. Now electrum is gold and silver in an alloy smelter. So if I go over to my alloy smelter. Now I was testing this earlier, so what I've done is I've taken my wrench, I've wrenched the output to the top, I've used my screwdriver to allow input from output side, and in here I've just enabled the automatic output. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ME interface and I'm going to squish it down into the smaller version. I want to add that in place, and then I'm going to run some, brain's a bit loud, covered cable and connect that into my network. Now one of the things I did do is to make this thing here, which is the interface terminal. And what that allows me to do is when I create a pattern, I can add it into the slots directly from here rather than running backwards and forwards. We can still run backwards and forwards because we're going to need to set up the integrations. But first things first, we want to, so we go back to our calculator, Right, I need electrum. So if I go to my pattern terminal and say electrum, I have electrum, but we'll do it up here. Where are we? Electrum, not fluxed electrum. Here we go. That is gold and silver in our alloy smelter, but I need to put this into processing mode first. And then do that, add that in, make our pattern, and we just want to drop that into our alloy smelter. And if I hold shift, it tells me that there's the pattern there. I don't know why it's not actually showing the actual icon, but when I drop it in there, it should do it. So that's the first one. Second one, energetic blend. We're going to do that one manually, so we'll leave that for now. Aluminium plates. Now, normally I would put plates into a compressor, this little guy over here, and that would do one at a time. And if you look at the recipe for aluminium plates, compressor, it takes 5 seconds to do one. So to do 9 would take 45 seconds. A better way of doing it is if I take an aluminium block, block of aluminium, any one of these will do, not that one, block of aluminium, I put it through a cutting saw, it takes 5.2 seconds to do 9. So 45 seconds to do 9 with the compressor, or 5.2. And the reason it's fast is because I've got lubricant. Lubricant is so easy to make, there is no excuse for not using lubricant. You can use water, which takes 20 seconds, or distilled water in 30.5 seconds. But literally, if you've got a pyrolyze oven, all you need to do, get some logs, put it in, that gives you creosote. Take that creosote and put it in the, which one was it? Put that into a mixer with some redstone, and you get 750 millibuckets of lubricant. It's so easy, there is no reason not to use lubricant. I know you might be quick, oh I just grab some water, pour it in there, but spend the time, use the lubricant, and then you'll be a lot quicker doing stuff. Okay, so we want aluminium plates. So what I'm going to say is, to make aluminium plates, I'm going to use the cutting saw. I'll take that recipe. Now, because AE2 doesn't have any concept of fluids, you will notice there's no fluid added in here. That's fine, because we're going to have that already in the machines. So a block of aluminium equals 9 aluminium plates. We'll take that recipe and we'll go over to our cutting saw. I should have done this while I was over there rather than blethering away. We'll take another ME interface and we'll just drop that in there. Perfect. And while I'm here, I may as well just drop my recipe in there rather than put it back into the system because I dropped it into the wrong slot. Oops. Oh, I'm over here now, so I may as well put it into my cutting machine here. Now, because I've got all of my ingots, etc., going into my compressed straws, I don't need to worry about making blocks of aluminium. As long as I've got at least 9 ingots, there'll be a block of aluminium available, as well as the nuggets. So, next thing, polyvinyl chloride sheets. I made those earlier. Again, I'm not going to set up that automation just yet because it's pretty much a fluid solidifier with a plate mold, and to do that I'd have to have it on a constant loop. So later on I will set up a system for keeping X amount in stock, but that'll be in a later episode. Tin alloy. Right, tin alloy is again an alloy smelter one of iron and tin. So do tin alloy and our alloy smelter recipe, use the ingot form because that's what I've got, and drop that into our alloy smelter as well. Copper plates, same thing as before. We'll use the recipe for the cutting machine. That's annealed copper plates. Cutting saw, does help if I'm clicking on the right thing. And that in there. Again, same deal because I've got them in the compacting drawers. No, that's the wrong one. I've got blocks ready. Alright, annealed copper wire and electrum wire. So, first things first, I still have my LV wire mill, and this is one of the reasons I moved it down here. We are going to upgrade these to MV at a later date. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my two interfaces. I'm going to drop one on the copper wire mill and one onto the cluster mill because we're going to be using both of those. Take my flux cable, connect that up, and connect that up. So that's my two machines set up there. And right, so what did I say I needed? I needed annealed copper wire. So annealed copper wire in my wire mill. 1 to 2. Add that in. Put my pattern in. And we'll pop that into our basic wire mill. And electrum wire. And again, that's going to be click on the right one. Wire mill, pop that in. I hope I've got enough patterns for this. Find our basic wire mill, pop that in there. That's that done. Energetic alloy we're going to do off camera. Aluminium foils and thin polyvinyl chloride sheets. So aluminium foil is this one here. That's in our cluster mill. So we'll take that recipe and thin polyvinyl chloride sheets. It's again that one. We'll take these two recipes, we'll find our basic cluster mill, and we'll drop one in there and one in there. Whew, where are we now? Fine tin alloy wire. Okay, so fine tin alloy, this one, in our wire mill, and that doesn't have a normal version, it just goes straight into thin. And that goes into our basic wire mill as well. Where are we now? Copper foils. This is a useful one. So copper foil goes into our cluster mill. There we are. You're going to see we're going to need a lot more machines. Now we need fine annealed copper wire and fine electrum wire. So fine annealed copper wire, that one, and fine electrum. Right, and they go into our basic wire mill as well. That one in there and that one in there. Vibrant alloy we're dealing with elsewhere. And SMD capacitors. Now what's that require? This requires thin polyvinyl chloride sheets and aluminium foil in an assembler with polyethylene. So, what's the difference? Oh, that's silicon rubber. First thing I'm going to need to do is go to one of our assemblers. Well, have I got one set up? It's got soldering, so it'll be this one. and say, okay, I'm going to need an ME interface. We'll just drop that on the top. And we'll connect it up. Pop and pop. I'm also going to add a fluid interface on the back. Now make sure this is allow input from output side. I'm going to then connect up my cable here and here. Not the most elegant setup, but it will do the job. And what I want is, this is going to be my polyethylene assembler. So I'm going to just go grab a bucket. I have a bucket to hand. No, not in that one, so it must be in one of these chests. And very slowly but surely getting everything out of these chests. Right, and I want polyvinyl chloride. No, I want polyethylene. And what I'll do is if I go over to here, go to my interface, drop that in, what should happen any minute, once I add a pump, there's a pump. I'd hope they would just, you know, with the interfaces, just push it straight in, but it doesn't look like that's the case. So if I do it, I think it's that one, we'll do the back. And use screwdriver, nope. Right. Trying to be clever, not working, so we'll just take that off. We want that to import. We'll pop our interface back on, pop our cable back in, and then we'll just take our polyethylene bucket. And now we see we're pumping polyethylene into my advanced assembling machine, which is great. It means that we have a machine set up for polyethylene. Now we are trying to make our SMDs, which are polyvinyl chloride sheets and aluminium foil. So if I go to this one, pattern terminal, and go SMD capacitor, polyvinyl chloride into polyethylene, that recipe. I'm going to actually install this in the machine over here, just so that there's no confusing. Put it in the right slot first. Stop being so daft. Yeah, because I've got two machines and I haven't found a way of changing the name of the machines. I'm not sure you can. There may be a way. If there is, please let me know in the comments. Right, put it into the pattern slot for SMDs to go in there. Right, where are we? Plastic circuit boards. Another machine. So here is my advanced chemical reactor. You'll notice it already has some copper foil and some sulfuric acid in there, but I want to make sure it's got plenty of sulfuric acid already. So grab a pump first, make that mistake twice, and drop that pump onto here. Make sure my screwdriver is set to allow input from output side. Drop our fluid interface on, our covered cables, and where are we? And we'll take our ME interface and we'll drop that there. So that's ready to go. Okay, so we've added our, so I'm just trying to get my brain to work. Here we are. We've added our fluid interface in place. take some sulfuric acid, head over to our chemical reactor, drop that in there, and hopefully, if I had used my screwdriver to set that to import, I should be able to access the back by doing this one. I'm sure I can. Okay, so that should be sulfuric acid going into that one. So it means I can make a new pattern for plastic circuit boards. And for that, we want polyvinyl chloride sheets, copper foil, and sulfuric acid, because that gives us 2 plastic circuit boards. And we'll add that into our advanced chemical reactor number 2. I think that's the one. Just make sure that it is the case. Into the right slot this time. I'll take that copper foil out, and that is definitely going up, which is brilliant. Drop that in. What's next? Refined circuits. Now, refined circuits are this recipe here: soldering oil alloy. So, refined circuit is that one. We want this recipe here. Add that in. Wow, I'm getting low on patterns, which is probably one of the reasons I decided to make patterns first. It's almost like I planned this, almost. And we'll just pop that one into there. Now I have some soldering alloy. I am going to need to make some more. And what's left? SMD transistors and SMD resistors. So SMD transistor, or let's do resistor first. So that's electron wire carbon dust with polyethylene. And we know that this goes into advanced assembling machine. Oh no, it's just merged the two together. All right, well, we know that that's going to be this machine and that's going to be that machine. I was hoping they'd be separate, but well, this will do. And what did I just put in there? That was the resistors, so I need the transistors now. And that's in my assembler. Pop that in to that one there. And what does that leave us with? So we've got that vibrant alloy wire. That's going to be in our wire mill. Add that pattern in. Find our basic wire mill. Drop that in there. And silver wire. And fine silver wire. So let's do 2 patterns. Add this one in first. And fine silver wire. Add that one in. Add these into our wire mill. Oh, this is going to be tight. So that. Refined processors I still need to do, and refined processor array. Polyethylene sheets. Again, we'll manually craft those at the moment. I've got some in supply. Done that one to make blank patterns. So refined processor. Is this one. And we're going to be using this recipe here. And that is going into my assembly machine with my circuits, which has got the soldering iron in, soldering alloy, or whatever it's called. And last of all, this one, I've got the stainless steel plates already made up, I think, hopefully. So that's my refined processor array. So if I add that one in, I have 1 pattern left. So that goes in there. This could just be enough, I hope. Stainless steel plates. I actually have stainless steel plates made up. So I'll need to add that in as an additional recipe. But last thing I need to do is to add crafting storage. And crafting storage is just a crafting unit plus a storage component. I've got a 1K one that I made up quickly. And you'll just drop that here, and now it comes online. I then want a molecular assembler, which I'm just going to have that ready to go. That's going to be powering up. And last but not least, an interface. And if I drop the final thing I need, which is a pattern, here we are. I must set that to crafting mode. Add that in. Our final pattern goes in here. Let's just show it up on this one. So molecular assembler, drop that in there, and you can actually just see there's my pattern there. So in theory, when I go, I would like 8 patterns next. It says I'm missing one processor assembly. But I have the processor assembly listed unless I've messed up something here. Let's just check that pattern out. I think I have. Let's drop that into, yeah. Actually, let's just erase it. I see what I've done. I have popped the wrong thing in. So what I want is refined that one. So let's do pattern. Pattern, and it's going to be the one with the refined in. So why is that doing that? Tell you what, can I craft one of these? No crafting CPUs are available, because this is going to cost me more than the 1K storage in there. So what we'll do is we'll pause here. I'll go get a bigger storage unit crafted up, and we'll get the vibrant alloy and everything else done, and then we'll come back, we'll run our first craft through the automated system. So be right back. Okay, so we're back and we have done a few things. So first of all, I've now got some, wherever is it? It is vibrant alloy made up. I had to tweak the vibrant alloy pattern because it was putting the Gregtech vibrant alloy in. And of course the vibrant alloy we're getting out is Ender IO, so I had to transfer those over. The other thing is that I've made now our pattern, and the one thing I had to do was get a refined process array because it was sticking the standard one in. I don't know if we could probably put the substitutes mode on, that might have gotten around it, but let's see what happens. So first of all, we'll drop our pattern in here. Now hopefully I want to craft, say, 24. Next, so it says I can do everything. So if I hit start, we go over to here, we can see everything is now firing off, which was a way of showing it other than clicking on the actual CPU, but that's fine. So we can see things are happening, things are being crafted. Now this will either work or gum up completely, but I'm hoping for work. It does seem to be doing its job. I also put a 4K storage in here, so the 1K was just not going to cut it. I thought it was going to be close to the edge when I put the 1K in there, but I didn't realise how close. So we'll probably have to focus on upgrading that as well. So I reckon it's going to be 2.5 minutes. So what we'll do, it's going up. Come on, I just want my patterns to appear and I can add those all in. This is quite exciting because we've spent a lot of episodes just walking backwards and forwards, loading stuff into machines, grabbing the stuff out, putting it in. Now we can just click a button and boom, all the machines fire off. And let's go over and check out those assemblers, just make sure that they are doing their job. So you've got nothing in there because you're not crafting any circuits at the moment. You are... Why have you not ejected the SMD transistors yet? Interesting. So this could be why it's gummed up. Right, set to output. The patterns are in there. And have I got the output in the wrong place? I wonder if that's the problem. Indeed, I had the output in the wrong place. Well, that'll teach me. Well, will this cause a problem? Let's find out. It does seem to be processing stuff at the moment, so that's good. I'm glad we checked that. And we're just waiting on the good circuit boards. We want some refined circuits. They're being crafted at the moment. Refined processors are being crafted. So let's see how we're getting on with our chemical reactor, which is probably going to be the slower of the two. Yeah, so you can see that's making the plastic circuit boards. So stored 4, crafting another 2 to come out, so that's 1 more craft. Let's see how the other crafting's going. I bet I know where the problem on this one is. Yes, it is. Right, we'll be right back. I'm just going to pump some soldering fluid into there and then we will resume this. Okay, so that's 10 buckets of soldering alloy. I had made up some earlier, so I just needed to transfer that in. So that will get that crafting up again. And obviously one of the things we're going to have to automate is production of soldering alloy, because we're going to need an awful lot of that going forwards. So crafting's going on. We're a few minutes over, but I think it's worth just seeing this come through to see relatively complex craft being done. And more importantly, we've now automated refined processors, refined circuits, refined processors, and refined processor arrays, which means that going into the next tier, like the HV tier, I've got circuits on tap. So that's going to be brilliant. We're almost there, we're almost there. What is the anticipation is overwhelming. And also a little bit slow. How are we doing over here? Yeah, let's get in there. It's got 3 more to do. I just hope it doesn't mess up, because it looks like it squirted everything into here. So I may need additional assembling machines for each of the different things just to stop any gumming up of stuff. We'll play around with that and see what happens. It does look like it's making the processing arrays. So it's crafting 2, crafting 1, and I just saw that pop up, so we've got 1 more to do. Will this work? Done. And now we have 24 blank patterns all ready to go. Drop them straight in here. That is brilliant. I am really pleased with that. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, feel free to give it a like. And if you'd like to see more, then please feel free to click the subscribe button. I hope you join me in the next episode. Until then, I wish you a very pleasant day. Goodbye.